My name is Tommy Springfield, and today we got some breaking news. I actually seen this news yesterday, but I had some things I had to take care of. But new evidence in the Tory Lanez case. Meg Stallion, that ugly bitch, was lying after all. Let's get straight to it.
Good morning. We are here today to bring to your attention some information Unite the People believes is exculpatory in Mr. Daystar Peterson's case, professionally known as Tory Lanez. Recently, we've been made aware that a member of the media, Mr. Gianno Caldwell, was working on an op-ed for the New York Post regarding Mr. Peterson's innocence. During his work on that op-ed, he became aware of some information in Unite the People's possession regarding a statement that was given to Unite the People by someone with information relevant to that case. The New York Post recently reached out to the prior district attorney, George Gascon, Megan Pete and her representatives, and Kelsey Harris and her representatives. The only party that responded last week was Megan Pete's representatives with a request for more information. A few days later, Mr. Peterson's brutally attacked in his jail cell.
So let's break down what he just said so far. There's some new evidence that's showing Tory Lanez may be innocent. I mean, we all know he was innocent, but when he put out the information to Megan Thee Stallion's lawyer and the other girl who allegedly did the shooting, no one returned information back but Megan Thee Stallion's peoples, and they wanted a little bit more information. And 2 days later, he was stabbed up in prison. Now, I ain't putting one and one together and coming up with two. But Megan Thee Stallion's lawyer was the only people that responded and wanted more information, and a couple days later, he was stabbed up in jail. That's what he said, not me.
Innocence. During his work on that op-ed, he became aware of some information in Unite the People's possession regarding a statement that was given to Unite the People by someone with information relevant to that case. The New York Post recently reached out to the prior district attorney, George Gascon, Megan Pete and her representatives, and Kelsey Harris and her representatives. The only party that responded last week was Megan Pete's representatives with a request for more information. A few days later, Mr. Peterson's brutally attacked in his jail cell. Unite the People represents Daystar Peterson in his appellate process. We filed an appellate brief and a writ of habeas corpus on his behalf. The district attorney's office has already responded. The case is fully briefed. We're just waiting for the appellate court's decision. We were willing to wait for the appellate process to play out, but given that brutal, unprovoked attack, we felt it necessary to come here today to provide you with this information. It is our intention to make a request to the governor to either pardon or commute the sentence of Mr. Peterson, so that when he recovers from this attack, he's not returned to a jail cell, but that he's allowed to go home and recover.
So as you can see, they asking for pardons or, getting rid of the sentence. So this is where we at, folks.
Not long ago, Unite the People was approached by a gentleman named Bradley James. Mr. James informed us he was working as the bodyguard and driver for Miss Kelsey Harris during Mr. Peterson's trial. As such, he was in close proximity and he had privy to conversations she was having with her husband and others. Mr. James informed us he was not under a non-disclosure agreement or a confidentiality agreement and was free to speak with Unite the People, and that he was doing it because his conscience would not let him not speak and leave a man in prison for something he did not do. Mr. James informed Unite the People that he was a witness to the conversation Miss Harris had, where she stated she had the gun, she fired it 3 times, Mr. Peterson grabbed her arm and knocked it down, and the gun fired 2 more times. In essence, Mr. Peterson never shot anybody, never even touched that gun, never fired the gun. This statement aligns.
So you heard him, the bodyguard to the friend who we all knew all along was the one who shot at Kelsey, said he listened to her conversations and she talked about it to her husband about shooting the gun and all of that. And this is where we at with the case.
With the statement of the only non-party witness to the case, Mr. Sean Kelly, who at trial testified he saw two women fighting, two men break up the fight, one man grabbed the other one's arm, gunshots came from the passenger side. The passenger side is where Miss Harris was sitting. This further iterates that Mr. Peterson did not shoot Miss Pete, did not shoot at Miss Pete, or did not assault Miss Pete. It's just another irregularity in a list of irregularities in this case. For example, there were 3 potential suspects in the car that night, and yet the only DNA sample was taken of Mr. Peterson, even though unknown DNA was found on the gun. Why wasn't Miss Harris's DNA taken? Or was it taken and the information simply never given to the defense? Why wasn't the driver of the car, Mr. Jaquan Smith's DNA taken? Or was it taken and again, simply not given to the defense? We don't know. It should have been taken. It is Unite the People's understanding, regular LAPD practice at a crime scene like that. Anybody who's there, the DNA is taken. Another irregularity. Why, at Ms. Harris's police interview, was a non-lawyer, non-family member record company executive allowed to participate? A highly irregular situation. Normally, we see cases, strangers are not allowed in these things, but it was in this case. All of these things point to the highly irregular nature of his trial and his conviction. It is our contention that he was wrongly convicted. And while we at first were willing to let the process play out, it is our contention now that if he is not pardoned or released promptly, he may never come out. And that would be the ultimate injustice, is that he gets killed in prison for something he did not do.
So there you have it. There's new evidence. As you can see, the press conference is 46 minutes long. I'm definitely not going to sit here and listen to all that. But we all know Megan Thee Stallion. Don't know why y'all call her that, because she's definitely a ugly-ass, shady-ass, sorry-ass bitch. Was lying. Her homegirl shot her, and they set Tory Lanez up for the downfall. Like I always say, I present you with the facts. I give you my opinion on those facts. And if you like how I do that, please click that like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, so you can get notifications every time I drop one of these videos. If you a hater out here supporting Megan Thee Stallion and her lying ass friend, cut the shit. That part.